Hi, it's Pete Moore, I'm with PCMGuns, and today we're talking AR15s, perhaps my favourite rifle ever. Being an old git, I go back to the days of practical rifle when you could own self-loading rifles, and I had an AR15A2 which was just superb. But in 1988 the government banned them and we had to go back to bolt actions. It was literally like getting out of a powerboat and getting into a canoe. Some people say it doesn't make a difference, but believe you me, I'll sooner shoot practical rifle with a self-loading AR15 than not. But we can't. So, the straight pull AR15 appeared from America. They were quite basic, T-handle operation only. This handle wasn't there. And they did okay, but they were still slow to operate, quite tiring. And the problem with guns like this, because they're a hybrid straight pull, is primary extraction when the case comes out the chamber. On a gas gun or a piston gun, all that energy chucks it out, but you're using your hands to pull it, and if you have a hot load that can swell into the chamber and be hard to pull out, it gets a bit awkward. This is why the side cocking handle came about, which gives you much more to get hold of, and it's pretty obvious. Southern Gun Co made them. They really hit the market. They made the first side cocker with ambidextrous operation. Very nice rifles, but a bit heavy. Not just for the practical rifle market, but people had AR-15s because they are potentially very accurate. They had them just as range guns, as varmint guns, you name it, they did it. And I'm not sure these days how popular the generic AR-15 is. Schmeisser came to the party quite late. They've been making semi-auto and selective fire AR-15s for the civilian and police markets in Europe, doing a damn fine job. And they sent the then importers a straight pull gun for me to test, and it was a T-handle only. And T-handle operation of these guns, as I said, is a pain in the bum. It really is, because there's not enough to get hold of. If you've got primary extraction problems, it's even worse. And I said, it shot well. The rifle was very good. It shot well indeed. No complaints at all. I was asked to speak to them about it, which I did, and I was very polite. They were very polite, and I said, look, I'll be honest, guys. If you're not making a side cocker, then most people are not going to buy new rifles. And they said, well, we don't think you need a side cocker. I said, fine, that's it. You know, the Germans, they can be quite dogmatic, as can we. And then about a year or so later, I got a shout from the importer and said, look, Pete, they've just sent us their first side cocker, and it wasn't quite this system. It was a different system. It wasn't so clever, but what it was, they'd made that jump. They'd seen, I don't think it's through me, perhaps somebody else, I don't really care, that if they wanted to sell their guns in the UK and there's a market for them, then they needed to get behind the side cocking, which they did. And this is the latest SP15. It's a 14.5-inch carbine, and you don't really need a long barrel AR-15 for the sort of practical type shooting you might do with it. But what I really like about Schmeisser from day one, the gun comes out of the box ready to rock and roll. You can dress these things up just the same as a 10-22. It's ridiculous. You know, you can put everything on them. I've tested them over the years, and I've had double mag carriers and all sorts of weird crap on them. And to be brutally honest, guys, you don't need it. You need a shooting rifle with a free float forend, workable furniture, and a decent barrel, and that's really it. So the Schmeisser rifle came with it comes with all you need. They're about I think £2,000 around that, which may seem a lot, but for what you're getting in this day and age, it is good money for a gun out the box that does everything for you. The rifle comes with 2 magazines. They're 10 rounders, but the good news is Colt style and modern mag pull AR-15 mags fit it. They lock it open and they drop when you press the button, which is great, so no problems on that score. The rifle comes with a 14.5-inch barrel and a rather fancy muzzle brake, and they've gone to town on being ambidextrous, as we shall see. But so far from the box, I'm very impressed with this. It came with a Bushnell AR scope, AR optics. It's a 1:8x24, and we'll see later on, I'll do a separate test on this. It's got a donut type reticle with a ranging grid in the middle of it, and this to me is probably the ideal optic for an AR-15. You don't need anything big. All you've got to do is see a figure 11 flash figure 12 at a certain distance, which 8 power is more than enough. But if you're doing standing shooting at 100 yards, 200 yards, you can wind it down to 1 or 2, and you can shoot it free-handed, and you haven't got much wobble. So, and it's not too heavy. So this, to me, I wish this had been around when I was shooting AR-15, so I'd have got one. The butt is a telescopic, which is quite common for the AR15 carbine types. This is a copy of the Magpul basic 6 position. Locks in. These are good, but the problem is they can be a little bit wobbly. This is reasonably to help, but as it comes from the box, I'd happily shoot it like this, no problems. Pistol grip is reminiscent of the original AR15 grip, though it's slightly modified. It's all rubber, which is great. This is checkering, slots at the back and the front for gripping, a little lug there to keep your hand in there, and best of all, the infill here on the back. The original AR15s just came straight up here. There's a lot of flapping about. This infill really fills up the web of your hand really nicely. Safety catch is ambidextrous. You use the pictographs here, like the H&K thing. Red, it's fire. Flute forward. White, which is a bullet across is safe. Ambidextrous does the other side, which is great. Though it's easy to operate from with your firing thumb in the position, so having a separate safety on this side can be useful. It really can be. The cocking handle is the really good thing about this. This is a much better version than the original. It screws in, 3 big screws go straight to the bolt carry. It's really strong. This handle is probably about 1.5 inches, 1.75 long. Lot to get hold of, and you can slack off a nut here and you can move it down or up depending on what you want. The T handle, even though you don't really need it, as I've gone to great pains to point out, you need to have it on the gun anyway, and the original ones were just a very basic simple unit with a little catch on one side, and this is ambidextrous. You've got 2 levers here that are conjoined, so they work together, so you can use it one finger this way, or if you want to, pull back like that. So it's there. I wouldn't take it out, just leave it as it is. Okay, unlike standard gun, you have a big head mag button here, which is nice, and it's raised, it's not flush, so the mag goes in. And the beauty of the AR15 is when you're empty, you just press the button, the mag drops away, so it increases it shortens your time when you're doing a reload, and that is very important. Unusually for this, it has a right hand side bolt release, which I'm not sure is really essential, but it's there. You do press down on that and the bolt goes forward. I don't like the way the cocking handle comes forward and just brushes over your thumb. Magwell's nice and big. It's not a special magwell, but magwells are well designed in the AR15 for getting the mags in. Trigger has a winter type guard. This can pop down there. Trigger is nice. It's a smooth wide blade, and be very frank with you guys, you buy a standard AR15 and don't ask about the trigger and you get the most hideous 2-stage unit. It's just how they are. But here we have, it is 2-stage, thinking about it. So you have that take up, which tells your trigger's going to go off, then you squeeze. And it's a very nice break, it really is. It's probably edging on 3, but it's crisp, it's clean, and once you've taken up the first stage, it just breaks. It's really nice. Same again, ambi safety, and here you have 2 controls. You have a second mag catch. Put this in. So if you want to, you've got the option to release the mag left or right. So press that down, she pops, and when the gun is empty, like so, the action hole's open, and once you've dumped the mag and put a new mag in, you don't have to pull back on the cocking handle. You can do, you can just go, and that's it, she's done. As standard, you get this slimline free float forend with a Picatinny rail wheel on the top, which engages with the Picatinny rail on the receiver, so optics, lights and lasers, you name it, is not a problem. This is M-LOK. These long slots are M-LOK, and included along with the 2 magazines is a section of Picatinny, M-LOK Picatinny. I put it on the front here, and I've got the bipod on here if you want it. But on one of my AR15s, I actually had a forward grip, which again for standing shooting I found very useful, and you can get longer rails or position where you like. So that's good. Barrel is 14.5, 14.75. It's like M4 style barrel. It's about .932 by the reinforce, and it tapers or steps down very slightly, but this is quite a chunk of barrel, which is good. So it's short, therefore it's rigid. The free float is at least 1/4 of an inch around the barrel. There's no influence on the forend on the barrel at all. And it's finished off with a flash hider. Not that you really need one, but it's threaded 1/2 by 28 UNEF, which is your standard AR15 type thread. So what I've got here is the classic 55 grain full metal jacket, this is Gecko, and it's really their version of the original US M193 ball, which was used in Vietnam and by NATO forces until replaced by the 62 grain SS109, which is a far superior bullet. And we have two from PPU, and these are both match loads. It's a 69 grain boat tone hollow point match. I believe that they either buy in Sierra BTHP bullets or they make a copy, and this is exactly the same but 75 grains. The 69 should be the best shooter in this. Until we pull the trigger, we don't know. But the 75s, they might prefer a 1 in 8 twist. This is a 1 in 9 twist barrel, as I've said, and 1 in 9 is sort of more general use. A couple of things about AR-15s you need to think about. First of all is when you operate them, there's a spring in the butt that changes the round for you. So you fire and just let the bolt go. Don't ease it back, don't short stroke it, just bam, and as it comes to the stop, just let your hand roll off. That way you'll be the most efficient operating. Also, the AR-15 offers a lot of nice features. So you've got your ambi safety, you've got all your controls, so there's no need when you're loaded, if you really want to, just pulling the bolt back. You can if you like, but conversely, you can just press the bolt release button and it'll do it for you. Not so much of a problem on the initial load, but if you're in a course of fire where you've got compulsory mag changes, then it's all about shaving seconds, because that's what practical is all about. So just remember, the gun does most of it for you. Okay, let's turn some live into empty. Just press the bolt release, ready to go, safety catch. Okay, it's empty. Press your mag button, empty falls away. New round in, press your bolt release, you're back in action. Easy as that. Okay, right, that's us finished. Hope you had fun. I certainly did, because I love AR-15s as non-hunting type rifles. Or I think the SP15, there is virtually no criticism I can level at it. Sweet trigger, ambi controls are great. Perhaps you don't need them all, but I do like the ambi safety very much. And also I think the ambi mag release is quite cute. I'm not so convinced about the bolt holder or the bolt release on this side. T-handle, it's got to be there, and if you don't like a side cocker, some people don't like the look of the guns looks, they make guns look daft, then this ambi style with the twin hinge levers is probably the best option you're going to get. Furniture's good, nice grip, maybe a tad skinny, but with the rubber makes it much more tactile. And the butt is more than adequate. I would not personally pick a butt like this. I'd go to Magpul, because when I had my last AR-15, I had a Magpul on it which had like cheek pieces, and it just gave a bit more head support, but much neither here nor there. Thing is that would probably cost you about 150 quid now for that, and so it works. A little bit rattly, but they all are. Live with it. Free float's great. That's what makes it a decent, strong, heavyweight barrel in the free float. M-LOK's always nice. This way, you can just put Picatinny where you need it. I couldn't get any chronograph figures. I've got a Magnetotech that bolts onto the muzzle and shoots over it. And I didn't have any tools to take this off, and I couldn't get it off. And I couldn't position the mount in. If I had done, the blast would have probably torn up all these straps that go around it. So I'm afraid no velocity figures. But what I would say, This is a 14.75, so you are going to get a significant velocity drop. However, we're not talking about hunting here. We don't have to make energy levels. The gun just has to shoot. So, and I've seen guys with M4 types, same sort of barrel length as this, same setup, and they've been hitting Frig 11s and knockdowns on ETRs at 600 meters. So don't let that worry you. What this does mean is you have quite a light, handy rifle. I think it measures in about 7.5 pounds barebacked, and if you resist the urge to put some ridiculously big scope on it and keep it quite clean, then it's a very handy gun to shoot. I think 2K buys you a lot of AR15. Okay, now as soon as we can't have velocity, let's just have groups. 55 grain FMJ, shot 1.325, not particularly good, and I wasn't really surprised. The 75 grain PPU match, shot 0.577 inches, which I thought was quite keen for at 100 meters, which is pleasing when you think about it. And star of the shooting was 69 grain, again PPU bow tail hollow point match, and that was a cool 0.387 inches. Excuse me. That's pretty damn good. Off the bench, off the bipod, yeah, pretty damn good. That is very confidence inspiring. I've always used 69 grain reloads in my AR15s, and most of them shoot around that sort of area. Very nice indeed. Reliability, very reliable. Didn't have any problems with primary extraction, given I had 3 different weights of bullet. Sometimes you heavier bullet, more pressure, blah blah blah, but you couldn't tell the difference in the shoulder and with the side cocker in getting the brass out and the new rounds in. So nothing much more to say. It's a nice tool, no question. If I had my time again, I might actually, for a change, buy off the shelf and probably get a Schmeisser, though I might get something with a slightly longer barrel. Might. Okay, I hope you enjoyed that. If you did, tell your friends. Support the channel, subscribe please. I'm getting more people coming in, which is great. And if you need to speak to me, it's the usual pmoore.shootingsports@gmail.com. And I'll see you again soon with some more stuff, and as ever, shoot straight, be safe.